Listen to me carefully, because this moment might be the only thing standing between the life you have and the life you dream about. Right now, someone out there is beating you. They're training harder, working longer, thinking sharper, and every second you waste, they're pulling further ahead. You've been saying one day, for years, one day I'll start, one day I'll change, but that one day never comes because deep down you've been comfortable being average. And here's the brutal truth. Nobody remembers the average man. Nobody tells the story of the guy who almost made it. Life isn't waiting for you to be ready. Opportunity won't knock politely. It kicks the door down for those already moving. You're either building your empire or you're being used to build someone else's. You want respect. You want money. Freedom, power. Then stop scrolling. Stop doubting. Stop waiting for permission, because if you don't act now, you've chosen to stay a nobody. And the world will happily forget you ever existed. You've been telling yourself you'll start tomorrow for years. But tomorrow is a liar. Tomorrow is the comfort blanket you wrap around yourself so you can feel better about not doing what you know needs to be done today. The truth is, there's no perfect time, no magical moment when the stars align and the path is clear. The perfect time is now. If you're waiting until you feel ready, you'll wait forever. Readiness isn't something you find. It's something you create by moving forward before you feel prepared. Think about the last time you said, I'll do it later. Did later ever come, or did the days, weeks, and months slip by while your dreams stayed exactly where they were, in your head? You've been tricked into thinking you have time, but every second that passes is one you will never get back. Time is a currency, and right now, you're spending it on things that don't push you forward, scrolling, talking, planning without acting. You're pouring your life into a hole and calling it preparation. Every champion you admire, every person you look at and think, I want their life, made their move before they had all the answers. They weren't fearless. They were decisive. They understood that hesitation kills ambition faster than failure ever could. The moment you decide, truly decide, is the moment the rest of the world starts to bend around that decision. That's the difference between those who rise and those who stay stuck. One group waits for conditions to be perfect. The other group creates conditions through relentless action. You have to decide that today is the line in the sand, right now, not after the weekend, not after the next paycheck, not after you sort things out. You have to burn the bridge back to your comfort zone so there's no path except forward. Because the moment you give yourself an escape route, your mind will take it. You'll retreat the second things get uncomfortable, and you'll convince yourself that you're being smart, when in reality, you're just being weak. Look at your life honestly. Is it where you want it to be? If the answer is no, then why are you still moving like you have centuries left? Most people live like death is a rumor. They think they can keep putting off their dreams, their health, their financial freedom, their goals, because there's time. There isn't. Life will pull the rug out from under you without warning. And when it does, you won't get a second chance to act. The reason deciding today is so powerful is because action compounds. You may not see massive results in one day, but the momentum you start builds into something unstoppable. Every day you delay is a day where nothing compounds, where you stay exactly where you are, or worse, fall behind. The people you envy are already stacking their wins, while you're still thinking about whether you should start. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more advice. You don't need someone to hold your hand. You need to make the decision right now that you will act and then follow through without looking back. Once you start moving, you'll find that the path becomes clearer, your confidence grows, and you stop caring about whether you were ready when you began. You'll realize the only thing that mattered was that you began at all. Excuses are the chains that keep you locked exactly where you are. They sound reasonable in your head, but in reality, they're lies you tell yourself to avoid the discomfort of growth. You say you don't have enough time, but somehow you manage to watch hours of television, scroll endlessly through your phone, and talk about what you're going to do without doing it. You say you don't have enough money, but you spend on things that give you no return. You say you're too tired, but you waste your energy on things that drain you instead of building you. Every excuse feels like a shield, but it's really a prison cell. Success doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't care if you had a bad day, if someone hurt your feelings, or if you're not in the mood. The people who win are the ones who show up regardless. They understand that their feelings are irrelevant to the mission. Waiting to feel motivated is like waiting for the wind to blow in your favor. You'll stay in the same place forever. The winners don't wait for the wind. They row against the current until they reach the other side. The problem with excuses is they make you feel justified in staying small. You convince yourself you're being rational, that now just isn't the right time. But what you're really doing is protecting yourself from the discomfort of failing. That protection costs you everything you claim to want. You say you want financial freedom, but you don't want to work weekends. You say you want a strong body, but you don't want to wake up early and train. You say you want influence, but you won't risk being criticized. You want the reward without the price, but that's not how life works. People who succeed aren't superhuman, they simply refuse to negotiate with themselves. They don't entertain the voice in their head that whispers, "It's okay to skip today," or "You can start again next week." They silence it with action. Every time you let that voice win, you reinforce weakness. Every time you override it, you get stronger. Discipline is built in those moments when every fiber of you wants to stop. But you keep going anyway. Think about it. Your greatest achievements in life didn't come from a moment when it was easy. They came from pushing through when it was uncomfortable, when you were tired, when it would have been easier to quit. That's where growth happens. If you only work hard when you feel like it, you'll never get anywhere worth going. Life rewards persistence, not excuses. The truth is, most people would rather complain than change. Complaining is easy. Changing requires sacrifice. Excuses let you believe you're the victim, and victims never win. The people who rise to the top are the ones who take full responsibility, even when it isn't their fault. They look at every setback as their problem to solve, every obstacle as their battle to fight, and they act without waiting for ideal circumstances. The ones who stay stuck are those still explaining to the world why they couldn't, while someone else is out there proving they could. If you don't control your time, someone else will gladly take it from you, and they won't give it back. Every minute you allow to be wasted is a minute you could have invested in building the life you want. Time is the most valuable currency you'll ever own, and the cruel part is that it's non-refundable. You can make more money, build new connections, even rebuild your body, but you will never get back the hours you spent on things that didn't matter. Most people treat their time like it's endless, but in reality, it's disappearing in front of them while they're too distracted to notice. The world is full of people who will fill your schedule with their priorities if you let them, friends who want to hang out with no purpose, coworkers who dump their responsibilities on you, social media platforms designed to keep you glued to a screen for hours. You have to realize all of this is stealing your future in small, invisible pieces. They'll take as much as you allow because you haven't built the discipline to say no. Every yes you give to something meaningless is a no to something that could have moved you forward. Controlling your time means deciding exactly what matters to you and refusing to let anything else interfere. That requires brutal honesty. You can't hide behind the lie that you're too busy when half of your day is spent on things that don't contribute to your goals. Busyness is not the same as progress. The person who works with focus for 3 hours will achieve more than the person who works distracted for 12. It's not about doing more. It's about doing the right things without interruption. You have to protect your time like it's gold, because it is. That means cutting out distractions, cutting off people who waste it, and cutting yourself off from habits that drain it. It means putting boundaries in place and keeping them, even when it makes people uncomfortable. If you're scared to say no because you don't want to upset anyone, Understand this: every time you say yes to them, you're saying no to yourself. You're sacrificing your goals for their comfort. The successful people you see aren't necessarily smarter or more talented than you. They're ruthless with their time. They don't let their days happen by accident. They plan their hours and stick to the plan, even when they don't feel like it. They know that every wasted hour compounds into wasted weeks, wasted months, and eventually wasted years. And wasted years are how you end up looking back at your life, wondering where it all went. You can tell me you want to change, you can tell me you have big dreams, but until I see you take control of your calendar, it's just talk. You can't build a business in the scraps of time you have left after everyone else is done with you. You can't get in shape if you only train when your schedule happens to be clear. You have to schedule the work first and fit everything else around it, not the other way around. Because the second you leave your time unguarded, someone will find a way to take it for themselves. Your mind and body are the foundation of everything you do. Without a sharp mind, you can't make the right decisions. Without a strong body, you can't execute them with full force. Yet most people treat their mind and body like an afterthought. They'll spend hours chasing opportunities, but feed themselves garbage food, get minimal sleep, and let their mental state be poisoned by negativity and useless distractions. Then they wonder why they have no energy, no clarity, and no drive. You can't expect peak performance from a system you neglect every single day. Investing in your mind means feeding it with the right information, not the mental junk food most people consume. That means reading books that sharpen your skills, listening to people who have done what you want to do, and filtering out the noise that keeps you average. Your mind is like a weapon. If you don't keep it sharp, it becomes dull and useless. And in a world where competition is relentless, a dull mind is a death sentence. But a powerful mind alone isn't enough. You can have the best ideas in the world, but if your body is weak, tired, and unhealthy, you won't have the energy to bring them to life. The discipline it takes to train your body is the same discipline it takes to win in business, relationships, and every other area of life. Skipping workouts, eating trash, and living in a state of constant fatigue will cost you far more than you think. The energy you waste on sluggishness is energy that could have been used to build your empire. Every meal you eat is a choice between fueling your goals or sabotaging them. Every workout you skip is a choice between becoming stronger or staying the same. Every late night spent on meaningless entertainment is a choice between clarity and brain fog. People pretend it's complicated, but it's not. It's just uncomfortable. The moment you choose comfort over discipline, you've already chosen to lose. Your body is the vehicle that carries you through every challenge in life. You wouldn't expect a broken-down car to win a race, so why expect a neglected body to take you to success? Strength, endurance, and resilience aren't just physical traits. They affect the way you think, the way you handle stress, and the way you perform under pressure. When your body is in peak condition, your mind follows. When your body is weak, it drags your mind down with it. This is why investing in your mind and body is non-negotiable. You can't outsource it, you can't fake it, and you can't skip it. The discipline to show up at the gym when you don't feel like it is the same discipline that will keep you working on your business when everyone else quits. The ability to focus without distraction comes from training your mind to ignore temptation. The strength to keep going when you're exhausted comes from building a body that knows how to push past limits. Most people will spend more money upgrading their phone than they will improving themselves. They'll buy the latest gadgets, the newest clothes, the flashiest accessories, but ignore the one asset they actually live in every single day, their own body and mind. And then they wonder why they can't break through to the next level. Most people think they're working hard until they meet someone who's truly relentless. They think putting in a few focused hours a week means they're giving their all, but the truth is they're playing at it. If you want to rise above everyone else, you have to be willing to outwork them, outlearn them, and outlast them in every possible way. That means putting in more hours, going deeper into your craft, and staying in the game long after others have tapped out. Hard work isn't a slogan, it's a lifestyle. Outworking everyone doesn't just mean doing more, it means doing more of what matters. You can't just keep busy for the sake of looking productive. Every ounce of energy needs to be directed toward actions that actually move the needle. The people at the top aren't wasting time on meaningless activities. They're laser, focused on the tasks that generate results. They're willing to put in late nights, early mornings, and sacrifice comfort for progress. When others are resting, they're refining. When others are partying, they're building. But working harder alone isn't enough. You also have to outlearn. Knowledge is leverage, and the faster you learn, the more you can apply. Most people stop learning after they leave school, and that's why they stay stuck. Every book, course, or mentor that gives you an edge is a weapon in your arsenal. The more you know, the more angles you have to attack from. You can't expect to dominate in your field if you're operating on outdated skills and shallow understanding. The world is evolving every single day. If you're not learning, you're falling behind without even realizing it. Then there's outlasting, because no matter how talented you are, the road to the top is a test of endurance. You will face setbacks, failures, and moments when everything feels pointless. Most people quit at the first sign of resistance, but the ones who win are those who keep going long after the excitement fades. They push through boredom, through frustration, through exhaustion. They know that the real competition isn't about who starts strong, it's about who refuses to stop. This combination, outworking, outlearning, and outlasting, is what makes someone unstoppable. You can beat someone more talented than you if you're willing to work longer and learn faster. You can beat someone with more resources if you simply refuse to quit before they do. Persistence will wear down resistance if you keep showing up, day after day, with the same intensity you had when you started. Every time you think you've done enough, there's someone out there doing more. Every time you convince yourself you've earned a break, there's someone using that same time to pass you. The moment you let up, you're giving someone else the chance to overtake you. This is why the top 1% is so small. It's not because others aren't capable. It's because they can't handle the grind for long enough to reach it. You have to adopt the mindset that there is no finish line. The work doesn't stop once you've made progress. It stops when you've dominated to the point that no one can catch you. That kind of dominance requires you to approach every day like you're still at the bottom, fighting for your place. The hunger has to be constant, because the second you lose it, someone hungrier will take everything you've built. Most people let themselves off the hook far too easily. They set a goal, they make a plan, and the moment it gets uncomfortable, they give themselves permission to back off. They tell themselves they've done enough for today, that they deserve a break, that tomorrow they'll come back stronger. But tomorrow never comes in the way they imagine, because they've already trained themselves to accept mediocrity. If you want real results, you have to hold yourself accountable at a level most people can't even comprehend. You have to demand results from yourself every single day, no matter how you feel, no matter what's going on around you. Accountability starts with brutal honesty. You can't hide behind your own excuses and expect to win. You can't tell yourself you worked hard when deep down you know you didn't push to your limit. If you hit the gym but coasted through the workout, that's not discipline, that's pretending. If you sat down to work but spent half the time distracted, that's not focus, that's wasting time. The only way to grow is to call yourself out when you're falling short. Stop pretending you're doing everything you can when you know there's more inside you. Demanding results from yourself means you measure everything. You track your progress, you evaluate your performance, and you don't settle for small improvements when you're capable of massive ones. If you didn't get closer to your goal today, you don't sugarcoat it. You admit it, You identify why, and you fix it immediately. Most people avoid tracking their results because they don't want to face the truth about how little they're actually doing. But facing that truth is exactly what forces you to step up. It also means raising your standards to the point where they intimidate you. If your goals are so small you can hit them without breaking a sweat, they're not goals, they're warm-ups. Push yourself to the edge of your abilities and then push further. That's how you find out what you're truly capable of. If you're hitting all your targets easily, it's time to make them harder. Results come from stretching yourself beyond comfort, not living inside it. When you demand results daily, you eliminate the option of good enough. You stop doing the bare minimum just to feel productive and start doing the maximum you can in the time you have. You stop thinking in terms of effort and start thinking in terms of outcomes. Nobody cares how much you tried if the result isn't there. Effort is meaningless without results, and the only person who can guarantee those results is you. This mindset turns you into someone who refuses to waste a day. Every morning becomes a challenge to outdo your previous performance. Every task becomes a test of how far you're willing to push. You stop comparing yourself to other people because their standards don't matter. You're competing against the highest possible version of yourself. That version isn't satisfied with excuses, delays, or half-finished work. That version doesn't tolerate wasted time or sloppy effort. That version only accepts progress, and it demands it relentlessly. When you live like this, you stop relying on motivation to keep you going. You stop waiting for inspiration or the right circumstances. You operate from discipline, from the non-negotiable belief that if you said you would do something, it will be done, and it will be done to the highest standard you can deliver. That's how you turn every day into proof that you're moving forward.